Surreal, isn't it? To know that the university status quo quickly changed from this to this. Clearly, everything's different. So to go into detail on how things have changed for student academics, I had a discussion with the Faculty Officer for Communications, Media and Culture and fourth year Ethan Williamson.
Staff have had to make quite a few changes, especially in the way things are taught. At the beginning of last semester, there were a lot of interactive tasks, just so that students had an opportunity to engage with one another. They were already so overwhelmed. So teaching has had to be scaled back in a way that is manageable. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because it has made things easier for staff and students, trying to make sure that the course content is covering all the key aspects with fewer elements of teaching along the way.
I also spoke with the Sport Union's Participation and Engagement Officer, Tash Miller, to discuss the differences to student experiences in sports.
This year, clubs have had their training and their competition shut down. We didn't have any backup plans. Trying to get clubs to retain members came down to a lot of, well, we can't try and get them to stay because they're paying, in some clubs, 100 quid. They're absolutely nothing. The event planning aspect has been cancelled. A lot of students are choosing sports either for the first time or they're really reaching the peak, and a whole year has been a complete write-off.
The sport union has clearly changed. So how has this impacted the students?
1/5 of our student population is part of a sports team, which means that 1/5 of our student population this year have lost something really tangible. Their fitness hasn't been a priority. They've lost their key, and for a lot of students, their only socialization aspect. Student mental health levels are going to, and probably have been, greatly affected. Yeah, we've been able to Strava our runs, but that doesn't compare to training with your pals, competing against another university and getting almost that euphoric sense of community.
Ethan goes on to agree that some students have missed out, but does that mean any of it was worth it?
For students that are studying theory modules, the only difference is that it's online. You're getting all the same content. Staff have worked really hard to create a seminar space that is as accurate as it could be. There hasn't actually been a shift in the quality of learning. I think that differs slightly for more practical modules. Practical modules have always relied on going out into the world. It has also had a huge impact on work that students have been able to create, in particular for the dissertation students who were supposed to be creating documentaries, who are now creating short videos from their homes. It was worth it to come back, having already established strong relationships with staff and with other students. Knowing that I was on my way out of my degree, it was the sensible option to just come by and finish it. I don't know if I could say it's the best option for the first year students that came to university. There must be an extreme sense of loneliness having moved to a university where you've never actually met any of the staff teaching you, nor do you know your course mates, and every single interaction is online as you sit alone in your room. I'm aware that sounds very depressing, but unfortunately that has been the reality for many first year students.
Tash was able to give an opinion on whether she feels it was worth it to come to university, but finishes on a slightly different note.
You know, if you're an athlete, you have no personality outside of your sport. Your entire life revolves around training, competing, socializing at training. It's been really hard in the union to try and engage students in other ways. You don't have the equipment, and quite frankly, you don't have the motivation to get out of bed. But I definitely think student experiences, particularly in sport, have been not just changed, but completely halted. But hopefully we can transform that into immense joy when we do return.
Join us next week when we will discuss whether the vaccine rollout will improve student experiences and return university life closer to normal.